Well, welcome back. It's another episode of Ink Transfer Drawing with Mark Zimmerman. My name is Mark Zimmerman, and what I'm doing right now is rolling ink out on a sheet of plexiglass. And then I'm going to drop a sheet of paper on top of that ink and do what's called an ink transfer drawing. So I'm going to transfer ink to the front of this paper, which is face down on the ink, by drawing and rubbing on the back, which right now is face up. So, and one little bonus is that everything comes out backwards when you draw this way too. So, so that ink is actually inside a little rectangle of tape. And I can usually find that tape and feel it with this pen and drag it along the edge of that tape. Makes me look like I can draw a straight line, doesn't it? I can't, not without a ruler. I don't know anybody who can. Alright, so the ink is inside there. I'm going to draw and rub on the back of that. I'm going to put a little bit of grass in here. I'm trying to think about how the wind blows in the grass, or the grass blows in the wind. I heard the wind yesterday rushing through the grass, just hissing. It was kind of a windy day. Oh, pen is quitting. There it goes. Still transfers ink even if it's not leaving a mark on the back, but it's kind of nice to be able to see what I'm doing too. So, all right, I'm looking at a photograph here of a fence post and some grass and some sage and some nondescript West River hills. Empty space. I love empty space. It's been a while since I've done one of these, so I'm kind of doing something I like to play with. I like to play with fence posts and grass and wind and empty space. I see a couple knots on that, and put some wire in here. And maybe right in here too. Well, the question is, should we leave it smooth wire? I think we should put some barbs on it. Barbs, presto. There's not much to a barb on some wire. I think I'm just going to have a little, I'm going to basically follow the photograph here. Follow the photograph and exaggerate at the same time. There we go. I can transfer ink by just touching the back of the paper too. Anything that presses the paper down onto the ink transfers ink. So and the ink's always a little different too, and so I just rolled it out. I don't really know what it's going to do. Oh, that's a little much, don't you think? How about a smaller square sun on the sky? And you're right to ask why a square sun, but because I don't like squares, and I grew up in a square house on a square block in a square town in one of the square states. I still live in a square state. Still live in a square house. Anyway, you've flown over the Great Plains. Look out the plane window and all you see are squares down there. Even if it's center point irrigation, it's circles inside of squares. It's always squares. So I don't really know how to deal with the western landscape without the square, so squares have even shown up in my sons. I think I'm going to do one little thing over here too, just a kind of an abstract element. Let's go to about right there. And I think I want that to be dark. I could just rub it with my finger. That would give me one kind of dark, kind of a flat tone. But I want a little more energy in the darkness. So I'm going to scribble. Sometimes I think I like ink transfer drawing just because it's a really good excuse to scribble. I'm not sure, did I just touch the... No, I guess not. I was wondering if I touched the tripod and moved the camera. Alright, there's some dark. There we go. Well, I can take a peek, see what I've got. As you can see, there's not actually a square sun in that sky. There are clouds. Do I want clouds? I don't. Let's take a peek though. That'll work. So I'm going to get rid of the plate with the ink on it and splash a little watercolor on here. There's the drawing. And I think I'm going to put a little board in underneath that paper in case I want to do a wash and I want to tip the paper up or down. Makes it easier. Well, let's just start up here in the sky. Put a little red sun in. Maybe a little bigger brush. And I'm going to start with just some water. And just a little bit of blue. A little more blue. It's actually turquoise blue. Kind of a fan of turquoise blue. So I'm using the board underneath the paper to tip that paper, let that paint run down where I want it to go. And I just snuck a little purple in that blue. I want to tip that way now. Run a little bit. There we go. Sorry, you're looking at it sideways again, aren't you? I can paint it this way. It's tempting to turn it so it's right side up. We'll put a little red ridge in there and a little red ridge right here. I switched to a smaller brush. I'm not sure why I did that. Okay, I'm going to tip it this way and I'm going to turn it, sorry. Just a little bit of green down in here. A little bit more. Don't want that to look too green. High plains never hardly ever gets too green. And the question is, what color is that post? Back to that turquoise. A little more turquoise. A blush of turquoise. So I tried to draw the wind in the grass, now I'm trying to paint the wind in the grass. One more color. Alright, sneak some purple shadows in there too. And sign them it in pencil always for some reason. I think this one is called Red Sun Blue Post. Sign it. Zimmerman, date it 2020. And there we go. Thanks for watching. Hope you had fun. I did.